Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
First question. I was just wondering if you have gotten the handle on perspective views, if you have gotten the perspective on perspective views. Huh? No? Okay. The best way to get a handle on perspectives is to practice. Okay? So, if you practice, you'll get better. Two things that I would want to tell you. One is homework number 8. If you guys have the manuals in front of you, just check it out. Homework 8 is slightly different. So, it's a competition. Okay? So, this is what the thing is that you're going to be drawing, think a 2-point perspective of your hostel room. Okay? And that's the fun part of it. Is that right? So, there are two aspects of it. One is voluntary. Voluntary means you can take a break, and the second aspect is competition. Okay? So, those who are interested, they can draw a 2-point perspective of their hostel room. Just imagine that you are standing, just about at the door of your room. Whatever you see, make a mental picture of that and draw a perspective. Okay? The due date is again 1 week after your lab 8. And what I'll do is I'll request the tutors to choose the best drawings from each section, and then we'll sit down and we'll choose the best, maybe 1, 2 or 3, and of course, so there'll be a little prize. Okay? That's one thing. And second thing is a little request. That from now on, I mean, of course, perspectives would probably have been a little difficult for you, but from now on, things are going to get even more difficult. So, we are going to get into space geometry, lines, planes, intersections, development. Okay? Of course, you guys are free to miss classes, but if you miss classes, you'll be at a loss. So, my request to you, so consider that as an advice as well as request. My advice and a request to you would be to come to the class, okay, listen to the lecture. If things are not clear to me, make me explain it as many times as you want so that you can understand it, and I'll be happy to do that. Okay? Because if you miss a class, then you lose something, you don't feel like coming to the next class, and then things happen. So, this is something that I just wanted you to caution about. So, things are going to get a little difficult and challenging, and to be able to understand things better, come to the class. Yeah? Is that a single point, 2 point? It's a 2 point, no?
So, but when we are standing at the gate of our room, the wall is parallel to the picture plane, so it would be easier to draw a single point perspective.
Well, think about that. Think about that. Maybe you can Think about that. Yeah. So, okay. So, a little more on perspective views. This is an example that you're going to be solving in your lab. So, I just want to go through the solution once. There are going to be a lot of lines in here, so bear with me. I'll try to do my best to explain things. All right, so what's given to you is the plan view of the object and the profile view of the object and a bunch of lines. So, you have the picture plane which is passing through one of the edges of the object, PP. 20 millimeters below that you have the horizon line. Okay. About 90 millimeters below this vertex of the object you have the ground line over which you have the profile view. This is where you are standing and this is where your eye level is, and 5 millimeters below the ground line you have the station point. Okay. So, these things are given to you. Once these things are given to you, you can maybe think about starting to draw perspective views. Now, about this angle and this angle, of course, this angle is 90 degrees. Okay. So, you get a nice perspective if you keep this combination as 60-30. Okay. So, length maybe around 30 degrees if this is more, otherwise 60 degrees, and the other angle as 60 degrees or 30 degrees depending. Okay. So, it's a nice idea because you get a very nice perspective of that. Okay. All right. So, you have seen this. Okay. So, this is the isometric view of the same object that you have drawn in one of your previous labs. I am going to be keeping this picture. There is a slight modification, rather simplification that I am going to be working with. I have replaced this part by a rectangle or rectangular region or a block, okay, so that we can understand the drawing of perspective in a little better way. Okay. Otherwise, this thing would remain the same. So, this thing is a block, this thing is a rectangular block, but this thing remains the same over here. And what I want you to do is try to understand the difference between the isometric drawing and the perspective drawing as we, continue with the drawing. All right. So, this is where the station point is. Okay. I am letting go of the numbers and maybe I'll be with you. I'll stay here. So, I can also look at these slides, the lines. Am I blocking your view? Can you move? Maybe at the back? Let go of the numbers. First step is to figure out the left vanishing point and the right vanishing point. This for the left, this for the right. Okay. You project the edge of an object far away along this direction on the horizon. This is your left vanishing point on the left, LVP, the right vanishing point on the right. Okay. Let me go back. Starting from the station point, look along this direction at an object at infinity. Get the image of that on the picture plane, which is going to be a point. Project that on the horizon line. Okay. This would be the left vanishing point. Likewise, if you do the same thing on the right, look along this direction at an object at infinity. Okay. Get the image of that object as a point, project it downward on the horizon line, you will be getting the right vanishing point. Okay. First step. With me? Good. Okay. Now, what are the 3 rules? Lines which are parallel to the perspective, parallel to the picture plane, remain parallel. Wonderful. Lines which are not parallel to the picture plane, they vanish. Lines which are on the picture plane, they stay in true length. Okay. Identify, the first step is identify the edge on the object which is on the picture plane. Look at this vertex here, look at this point. Okay, so the edge going into the screen will be the edge which will be in true length. Okay. Once you have identified that, from the station point, view that edge. Okay, that edge would correspond to this here. Okay, make that edge. Now, with that edge made, these edges are going to be vanishing towards the left vanishing point. These edges, they are going to be vanishing towards the right vanishing point. Okay? All right. Left vanishing point, the right vanishing point. Okay? Let's focus on this edge. Okay? From the station point in the top view, get the site information. Okay? The image of this vertex will be formed over here, projected downward. You will be getting the edge in between these two rays that vanish towards the right vanishing point here. Okay. With me? Okay. So once you have this edge, you can get this block made pretty easily. Okay? Now, of course, you won't see this edge because it's not there, but how about this? You see this? All right. Where would you see that? On these two rays? Okay. What do you do? Station point. Look at this vertex. Get the image of this vertex on the picture plane. Project that image down. Okay. So you'll get this edge here, right over here in between these two rays. Okay. The same thing for this vertex here. Get the image on the picture plane, project it down, and you see this. With me? Okay. Straightforward? Straightforward? So you have this part. Okay? Now, how about this feature of the object here? All lines are 60 degrees from this part of the picture plane. They will be vanishing towards the left vanishing point. Nah? Okay, so if you are looking at this edge over here and this edge over here, they will be vanishing both towards the left vanishing point. With me? Okay. All right. So both from the top as well as from the bottom. Now, this is the important part. This guy here in the profile view, where is it? Where is that? In the plan view? Over here? Right? Now, would any part of this be on the picture plane? No. Will you be able to get the true height of that? Will you be able to get the true height of that? Probably not. Okay, but there is a little trick that you can use to get the true height of that. Okay, so you can just imagine that this guy comes down over here. So that one of the vertices of this guy is on the picture plane. Okay. Correspondingly, get the height of this thing on this line. Okay, because it's this line where you're going to be getting all heights in true lengths, nah? Yeah? Okay, so imagine that this guy has come down over here. Imagine that this guy has come down over here so that this vertex is coinciding with this vertex. Okay? Working? Okay, I'll try to speak without the mic for a while. Can you hear me? Good. So, are you with me so far with regard to this? Huh? Now look at this edge. Okay, where's it going to vanish? There? Okay. What do I need to do now? I use the side information. I look at the back vertex of the object in top view, get the image of that on the picture plane, project it down. Okay? What this edge is, that's this edge in perspective. Okay? How about the height? Are you with me on this? So get this height. So let me go back. So what I've done is a little trick. I know that if I stay on this vertical line, I'm going to be getting true lengths. Okay? Can I have some? Kurkure? You know, it's bad, you should share, nah? All right, so what I do is I'll do a little trick. I know that anything on this line I'll get in true length. Okay, so I'll move this feature over here so that one of these vertices coincides with this vertex. Okay, so that means that if I use the profile view and get the height over here, what I can do is I can, knowing that it is going to be vanishing at the left vanishing point, I draw this ray, and then I use the site information, look at the back vertex, get the image, project it downwards. Okay, this would be the edge in perspective corresponding to this edge, and this would be the height in perspective corresponding to this height. So far so good? Okay. I look at the second vertex, get the image, project it down, okay, and then looking at these edges, I know that they will vanish towards the right vanishing point, okay, both of them. And if I look at these two vertices, essentially I'm going to be using the site information. If I look at these two vertices, I go up, get the image of that vertex on the picture plane, project it down. Likewise, this one, project it down. Okay? I'll get this block which corresponds to this guy over here. Fine? So far so good? Same trick. Same trick to get this part of the object. Okay? Use the profile view. Project the height on the true length line. Draw rays that vanish towards the left vanishing point and the right vanishing point. Okay? So this is the height that I'm going to be getting here. Okay? This is the slant part of the surface that I get. I get this height, I get this slant part. Not good. Huh? Okay, so far? Or maybe I can go back and I can explain? No? Stay with me here. You know, it's not your fault because even I'm getting confused. Stay with me. Do I have this point on in my perspective figure? Do I have this point in my perspective figure? Do I? Where is that? This guy over here. Huh? I don't have it, nah? How do I get it? I know that this point corresponds to this point, right? I use the true height information, okay? Take this ray towards the left vanishing point. This intersection point, is that right? This one over here would correspond to this and this, okay? So once I have this intersection point ready, I look at this edge over here. This edge would vanish towards the right vanishing point, okay? Having done that, I can draw this edge, this vertical edge, okay, and the vertical edge on the right here. And then I can join this and this point to get the slant surface. Good? How do I get these 2 points? Stay with me. I've gotten this edge now. I've gotten this edge. So there's a trick that I can use. What I can do is I can project these 2 edges, right? So, okay. Once again, I can project these 2 edges onto this edge. I get these 2 points over here. I look at one of those points from the SP in the top view, get the image. Okay, I look at, yeah. So this point over here, so this point over here comes down over here, right? Okay, likewise, I look at this point. I look at this point from the station point. This is the image of that point on the picture plane. I project it down over here, and then I join these 2 points, and then I get these 2 red lines corresponding to these lines over here and over here. Fine? With me? Yeah? Which horizontal line? There are many horizontal lines. There are so many lines that, yeah, come over. Yeah. No. No. You know why? Why? Absolutely. So this portion cannot be here because this portion is behind the picture plane. Okay, so this horizontal line here is just to take the true dimension of this on this true length line. Okay. All right. So stay with me. This is confusing. There'll be a lot many lines. All right. Now I'm looking at this point. I'm looking at this point here. Okay, and I'm going to be taking the projection of the image of this point from here, which is this here. Okay, I know that this edge vanishes towards the right vanishing point. I draw this edge, and the intersection of this ray with these 2 edges will give me this edge, right? Can I repeat? Okay so far? So what I've done what I've done is I have located these two edges in perspective. Fine? I have to locate this point and this point. Okay? How do I do that? I go to my station point, which is where I am. I look at this point, get its image on the picture plane, project it down where? On this edge. Okay? I'll get this point over here. Likewise, I look at this point, okay, get the image on the picture plane, project it down, I'll get some point over here. But I don't need to worry about that because I already know that this edge is vanishing towards the right vanishing point. So all I need to do is draw a ray from this intersection RVP, okay, which is what I do here. Fine? Yeah?
So we can do it without the red line extensions. Why
Of course you can. There are multiple ways of doing that. Of course you can. This is one of the solutions. Okay, so this part of the object is in perspective now. Yeah, needs a clap. Come on. Now, is it possible for you to draw the right hand part right inside the object in perspective? No? Want to see things messed up? Yes? Which one? Why? Yeah. Stay with me. So one of your peers says that this object is not complete because there would be a vertical line and there would be another line and there would be another line. 3 lines missing. Fine. Don't worry about that. This is just for check. This is your vertical line. Okay? So in your slides, you can go back and refer to the blue lines. This is just for verification. Don't worry about that. Vertical line. That if you draw a ray joining this point and the right vanishing point, the edge below this edge, okay, that lie on that ray, extend that, and then you'll be getting the third line. Okay? All right. So here comes the messy part of the object. What am I doing here? From this vertex, I am drawing this edge in perspective. Right? There you go. And then the edge on top of that. It's getting messier. Huh? Not visible. You know, it's going to be interesting if when you are going to be working on this. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be too many lines. Okay. Too many lines. All right. Okay. Now I want you guys to be attentive and just see what's happening on the right hand side of the object. From the station point, So, the idea is that if I am able to get a perspective sketch of this portion of the object, I think I'll be okay. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll first of all simplify this thing to be like a block. Once I get this like a block, okay, I can then try to get this semicircle and the circle later. Okay, so the first thing is for me to get this part of the object as if it were a block. Okay, so let's do that. I look at this vertex from the station point, project it downwards. Okay, this vertex is going to be lying on this edge. This edge in perspective is this edge right there. Okay, I get this part. Okay, now look at the point at the back. This point over here, okay, this is the intersection point which needs to be projected downwards. Okay, this intersection point is what we are interested in. Okay. And as I said, I am looking at this part as if it were a block. So, I draw 3 blue lines, look at one vertex, okay, take it down, extend it, look at the other, take that projection down, extend that, I get the block, right. So, once I get the block, then getting the circular feature is not going to be difficult. It's going to be messy, all right, but it's not going to be difficult. This is your center line. Now, what I'm doing here is this. I'm going to be drawing a bunch of lines parallel to this. Okay? What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be drawing a bunch of lines parallel to this in this region. Okay? So, these lines are going to be intersecting this arc, okay, and I am going to be doing the same treatment to those points of intersections as I have done for all the vertices of the object. Okay? This is what the generic idea is. Wait and watch. Line in the middle, just wait and watch. Got that line? Getting the points of intersections, I guess. Got that line? Got the center line? Got the arc? Got this part of the arc? One solid line shouldn't be there. 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 Which one is it? This one? Ignore it. Yeah, it shouldn't be there. Okay, there's more mess. It's pertaining to the circle. From where to where? All right, so let me have these guys over here and then maybe I'll explain it. Now, this block was fine, huh? This block was fine. What I wanted to do was to get the arc in perspective. Okay. Now, how would I do that, or how would I be able to do that? I draw a bunch of lines which are parallel to these lines, get the intersection, thank you, get the intersection between this arc and these lines. I will get a bunch of points, set of points, a group of points, and I am going to be dealing with those points the same way as I have dealt with all the other points. That is what the basic idea is. Wait and watch the mess pertaining to that circle over there. Again, the same thing. I am going to be enclosing this circle within a box, get the box in perspective, get the intersection points, and eventually get the circle. Wait, just watch. I'm going to run a little fast. Working? All right. Bottom line. Hold on. Come on. Stay with me. Once again, the idea is to enclose this circle within a box, get the box in red over here in perspective. Okay, make that circle intersect with a bunch of parallel lines, get the points of intersection perspective, draw the corresponding thingy. Okay, and of course there would be an arc over here if you think there would be. Okay, now this is what you should see at the end of your lab 8. Okay, I wanted to cover 3-point perspective, but we don't have much time, and I have to wind things up in another 4.5 minutes. Just an animation of the 2-point perspective of a staircase. Art ain't easy. So this probably answers your question, huh? It answers your question. So depending on the height of the object you have, if it's below the horizon line, you're going to be seeing the roof of the object. If it's above the horizon line, you're going to be seeing, you'll not be seeing the roof of the object. So essentially, all these guys are, so this is the horizon line, all these guys are below the horizon line, and that's the reason why you're seeing these flat surfaces. Okay? Above the horizon line, those flat surfaces are gone. So it has been 8 months since you have cleared JE. 8 months? Yeah, almost? More than that? 10 months. All right, almost 10 months since you have cleared JE. Okay? Fine. This is where you start in your careers. In your respective careers, this is where you start. This is where you are. But 10 years down the line, when you come and meet me, okay, I would want to see you way up there in your lives. Thank you.